Hare Krishna will start with the invocation prayers. Nana Shastra Vicharniko Nipano Sattarva Samstapako Lokana Mitakarno Tribhuvane Manyo Karna Sarano Radha Krishna Padaruvinda Bhajana Anandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Kopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming to read and discuss Srila Prabhupada and Krishna's instructions, and thank you in advance for taking the responsibility to apply these in your respective lives. We'll have a short class today because very few inquiries. So we'll be discussing inquiries from Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 1, class recording. So last class, there was a item identified for me in terms of identifying the 4 official sampradayas connected to Krishna. So I have on the screen the 4 official sampradayas that are connected to Krishna. The other sampradayas may be connected to Guru, but at some point they stop and they are not connected all the way to Krishna. These 4 sampradayas are official sampradayas because they are connected to Krishna. On this earth, it's mainly the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya which we follow at ISKCON. The other sampradayas are there in other universes. I have not seen on this earth these other sampradayas, although one time when I was doing book distribution on the street, couple of individuals were passing by and they said they were from Sri Sampradaya, but they were holding a burger or some whatever it was from McDonald's. So it kind of was like really, it didn't seem right. So even if they are from Sri Sampradaya, that wasn't the authenticate Sri Sampradaya. Ria can please read what we have on the screen, the 4 official Sampradaya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 4 official sampradayas connected to Krishna. Brahma Madhav Gauriya Sampradaya led by Brahmaji, followed at ISKCON. Rudra Sampradaya, also known as Vishnu Swami Sampradaya or Vallabha Sampradaya, led by Sadashiva. Sri Sampradaya, led by Goddess of Fortune. Nimbarka Sampradaya, led by Fort Kumara. Hare Krishna.
Any questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it a Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya or Brahma Madhav, or both are same?
It's one and the same. It's just how you pronounce.
Okay, Prabhuji.
All right, so question number 1. In Srila Prabhupada's lecture, Prabhupada mentioned that actual devotional service begins when one is Brahman realized. Is Prabhupada meaning about supreme Brahman realization? Can you please help me in understanding this? So you are correct. So all devotional services we are doing right now is to make us learn how to do devotional service in spiritual world. Real devotional service starts when one goes to spiritual world. Yes, Srila Prabhupada is saying Supreme Brahman realization. So even initiation is just getting connected to the parampara. Initiation is also among the starting phases. Initiation is not final. It's just a starting phase. Does that help? Thank you. Question number 2. How to build our utsa in devotional service. So as nectar of instruction, text number 3, Sanskrit says, Utsa Nishchay Dhairyat. Dhairyat means patience. So for utsa, we need little patience. So just as a person becomes a drunkard by associating with drunkard, similarly, by associating with like-minded advanced devotees, we develop the inclination or the utsa towards devotional service. So just as one gets infectious disease in the material world, we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.25, the Narad Muni chapter. Srila Prabhupada explains that infection of pure devotees in a good sense. So I'll bring up 1.5.25 on screen. So Vash Prabhu will read translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Once only by their permission, I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. Purport. Pure devotion is as much infectious in a good sense as infectious disease. A pure devotee is clear from all kinds of sins. The personality of Godhead is the pure entity, and unless one is equally pure from the infection of material qualities, one cannot become a pure devotee of the Lord. The Bhakti Vedantas, as mentioned above, were pure devotees, and the boy became infected with their qualities of purity by their association and by eating once the remnants of the food stuff taken by them. Such remnants may be taken even without permission of the pure devotees. There are sometimes pseudo devotees, and one should be very much cautious about them. There are many things which hinder one from entering devotional service. But by the association of pure devotees, all these obstacles are removed. The neophyte devotee becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee, which means attraction for the personality of Godhead's name, fame, qualities, pastimes, etc. Infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste of pure devotion, always in the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. This transcendental taste at once makes all material things distasteful. Therefore, a pure devotee is not at all attracted by material activities. After the elimination of all sins or obstacles on the path of devotional service, one can become attracted. One can have steadiness, one can have perfect taste, one can have transcendental emotions, and at last one can be situated on the plane of loving service of the Lord. All these stages develop by the association of pure devotees, and that is the purport of this stanza. Hare Krishna.
Right? Prabhupada says, infection, just as we get a disease infected, but this infection is in a good sense that so this is Narad Muni in his previous life. He became infected by the qualities of purity by association of Bhakti Vedantas, who are pure devotees. So in Nectar of Instruction, text number 3 also says, Sato Vrite, that we have to associate with the pure devotees. Follow them. Tat tat karma pravartana. That also is the same point. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 3. Is it possible for a soul or ghost to enter someone else's body, become a second soul, and cause two souls to share one body? Yes, two souls can occupy a body. Example, a ghost occupies another person's body. Or Pandavas. Pandava's body had two souls. One, the pure devotee, eternal servant of Krishna from the spiritual world, and second, the demigods. And the Yadus also had two souls. One, eternal servant of Krishna, and the second, demigod. Therefore, we discussed this in Canto 1 Canto 1 towards the end, that when Krishna wanted Yadus to come back to spiritual world, arrangement was made for Yadus to fight among themselves. So it was the demigods within the body that went to the place where the fighting happened, and the eternal servant, soul, went back to spiritual world before the fight, without the fight. So we discussed this part in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. Now, understand how one becomes a ghost. Now, assume someone has a lifespan of 75 years in a particular body, but for whatever reason, this person commits a suicide, say, at the age of 55. So he still has 20 years of life left, but he does not have a body, physical body. His next body is not going to be ready until he finishes 75 years of age. But he has left the physical body by committing suicide. So for next 20 years, this soul lives as a ghost without a physical body. So this ghost has material desires left over that were destined for the next 20 years. But the ghost does not have physical body to fulfill the desires. Therefore, those who are ignorant when they worship ghost, which is described in Bhagavad Gita 9.25, the ghost ends up occupying this ignorant person's body because the ghost wants to satisfy the desires of the ghost himself. We'll read Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says that if one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then there is no possibility of becoming a ghost or being haunted by a ghost. So I'll bring up Bhagavatam 4.18.18, where Prabhupada talks about that you do Pindadan for your forefathers and ancestors. So just in case, if anyone of them is in a ghost state, we don't know all our ancestors. So by giving them Krishna Prasad, they get a chance to get a physical body. And Prabhupada goes on to clarify that you don't worry. Prabhupada is just explaining a point. Says you don't need to worry about this. If you simply chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no possibility of one becoming a ghost. Pratyush will read 4.18 translation and purport from the screen.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation: The fortunate inhabitants of Pitraloka who preside over the funeral ceremonies made Aryama into a calf. With great faith, they milked kavya, food offered to the ancestors, into an unbaked earthen pot. Purport: In Bhagavad Gita 9.25, it is said, Pitrina yanti pitravrata. Those who are interested in family welfare are called Pitravrata. There's a planet called Pitraloka and the predominating deity of that planet is called Aryama. He is somewhat of a demigod, and by satisfying him, one can help hostly family members develop a gross body. Those who are very sinful and attached to their family, house, village, or country do not receive a gross body made of material elements, but remain in a subtle body composed of mind, ego, and intelligence. Those who live in such subtle bodies are called ghosts. This ghostly position is very painful because a ghost has intelligence, mind, and ego and wants to enjoy material life. But because he doesn't have a gross material body, he can only create disturbances for want of material satisfaction. It is a duty of family members, especially the son, to offer oblations to the demigod Aryama or to Lord Vishnu. From time immemorial in India, the son of a dead man goes to Gaya and at a Vishnu temple there offers oblations for the benefit of his ghostly father. It is not that everyone's father becomes a ghost, but the oblations of Pinda are offered to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu so that if a family member happens to become a ghost, he will be favored with a gross body. However, if one is habituated to taking the prasada of Lord Vishnu, there is no chance of his becoming a ghost or anything lower than a human being. In Vedic civilization, there is a performance called Shraddha by which food is offered with faith and devotion. If one offers oblations with faith and devotion, either to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu or to his representative in Pitralok, Aryama, one's forefathers will attain material bodies to enjoy whatever material enjoyment is due them. In other words, they do not have to become ghosts. Hare Krishna.
So this is not Shraddha, but this is Shraddha ceremony, where you offer Krishna Prasad to your forefathers, and if they happen to be in a ghostly body, then they get gross body. So question posted in the chat is it due to other souls' karma the ghost is able to occupy his body? So it's not karma. Actually read Bhagavad Gita 9.25. It says those who worship the ghost as one of the option, they will attain the ghost or somehow get involved with the ghost. So when somebody is worshipping the ghost actually ends up occupying that ignorant person's body. It's not karma, but it's the ignorant person worshipping a ghost causing the ghost to occupy the body. Mansi 925 translation from screen.
Hare Krishna. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirit will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Hare Krishna.
Does that answer both the inquiries, the one posted on the Google form and then the chat?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you. Question number 4. If someone is unwell and they opt for assisted death, what becomes of that soul? So there is no mention in scriptures of leaving the body due to suffering from illness, which is known as assisted death. Now, this situation may not be identified exactly as suicide. Still, the result of this situation is like a suicide, that the soul stays as a ghost till the scheduled lifespan. Now, this response is my Pratyaksha Praman. So in future or whenever some senior Acharya provide a response to this, that will be a valid response as compared to my this Pratyaksha Praman response. Does that help for the time being?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Question number 5. Since we are studying scriptures, memorizing verses, how to do devotional practices following Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. So this is the definition you all saw and discussed at the last class. Anybody memorized Anyabhilashita Shunyam want to recite?
I can recite, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Anya abhilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anuvritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.
So we have discussed this in Srimad Bhagavatam class. So those who have attended the Bhagavatam class, and for your batch 6-7, it's coming up very, very soon. So discussion from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.7 is that is knowledge and detachment a limb of bhakti? The answer is that there are certain cultivation of knowledge and detachment that can help us establish footage in bhakti and Krishna consciousness. So pure devotion to Krishna produces jnana, means knowledge, and vairagya, means renunciation. Independently, getting jnana cannot provide proper and full results, cannot provide bhakti. By devotional service, the byproducts are knowledge and detachment. So there is cultivation of certain jnana and vairagya that can help us get our footage fixed in Krishna consciousness. And then there is certain cultivation of jnana, which is a limb of bhakti, and there is certain knowledge which is not a limb of bhakti. Therefore, we need to understand which knowledge is not a limb of bhakti and which knowledge is a limb of bhakti. So Srila Rupa Goswami here says in Nectar of Devotion, Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. Anavratam means uncover. So the first line says Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, means all of the desires are Shunyam. But Jnana is not Shunyam. It says Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. We have to uncover. So certain knowledge covers our bhakti. We have to discard that knowledge. And certain knowledge helps us in bhakti that you don't have to discard. No, that you have to actually acquire and continue to read, discuss. So let's understand these two, that what knowledge is not a limb of bhakti and what knowledge is a limb of bhakti. So cultivation of impersonal gyan, say you are studying Vedas, Upanishad, etc. to attain Brahman effulgence. So generally Mayavadis would do this. So we do not need this knowledge. Such impersonal knowledge is definitely not a limb of bhakti. Now, certain knowledge does not cover bhakti, rather helps us in our bhakti. Example, the bhakti scriptures that we are reading, such as Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Shishopanishad, Srimad Bhagavatam. So these scriptures are bhakti scriptures. They help us on the path of bhakti, so we need to read this. These are limbs of bhakti. Srimad Bhagavatam, for example, is speaking about form, quality, sweetness of the Supreme Lord. So even at our stage of sadhana, even when I have not realized the sweetness of Krishna's qualities and pastime, still reading Srimad Bhagavatam and these bhakti scriptures is a limb of bhakti. So this cultivation of knowledge is a limb of bhakti, and we need this. Now, these are straightforward answers. Another example is practical day-to-day example that, say, a close friend asks us to go for a movie and you would say no. So the friend uses his emotional attachment and he says, you Hare Krishna people, you have no feelings for others. And because of this emotional blackmail, you end up going to the movie with your friend. Now, if your friend had asked you to go to a bar, that is clearly breaking regulative principles. Therefore, you will say clearly no, no. So on the surface, watching a movie does not directly break a regulative principle. So you go to the movie. So can somebody, those who have not been to the Bhagavatam class yet, can you please tell me what will happen when you come back from the movie? Somebody.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna, Prajalpas, like we started discussing movie.
Okay, Prajalpa, very good. Deepa.
I think I would want to start going back to the movies more.
Your mind is getting distracted into the movie, right? So,
Yes.
very good. Absolutely correct that after coming back from the movie, I am totally disturbed from what I saw on the movie screen. So I need to have this knowledge, this worldly knowledge, that because I went to the movie in that, say, 1 hour or so of the association of this movie, it has destroyed my concentration. Before going to the movie, I had somewhat unbroken concentration on my Krishna conscious activities. I was doing Krishna conscious activities without interruption. But today, after I watched this movie, I am disturbed. So this is day-to-day worldly knowledge. And I have to know this, that I'm going to not go to a movie again. And this worldly knowledge is actually helping me establish or continue to establish my footage in Krishna consciousness. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page?
Prabhuji, I have one thing to add. Since I started the class last year from like the Bhagavad Gita class to now, I completely stopped going to the movies. I even have movie pass that I didn't use for the past year and a half now. I
Very
feel it's
good.
useless to me.
Yeah, very good. So this is spiritual taste, right? That
Yes, Prabhuji.
you have lost material taste altogether.
Yes.
So this is very good. Thank you for sharing. This is advancement. So if you continue this, all of you, you will increase spiritual taste in different degrees depending on your individual endeavor, and you will simultaneously lose material taste. So Deepa had nothing to do separately to lose material taste. All she was doing is developing spiritual taste. And see the word she has used. I have a past, but it is useless. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody on the same page? Right. Question number 6. What does it mean that bhakti is monopolized by Krishna alone? We see people who are devoted to demigods and sometimes even devoted to other people. How should we understand this statement? So Bhagavatam describes that the term devotee means devotee of Krishna. The what people say I am a devotee of a demigod is not a correct way to identify, because devotee refers to Krishna's devotee only. And bhakti means bhakti or devotional service to Krishna alone and no one else. So anyone doing demigod worship, that is not bhakti. Demigod worship is a business transaction. So somebody calling that I am a devotee of so-and-so demigod, that's an incorrect statement. He doesn't know that that the term devotee refers to only devotee of Krishna. And bhakti refers to devotional service to Krishna alone. Therefore, it's monopoly. Does that answer?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Question number 7. In the section Happiness in Krishna Consciousness, the third last sentence mentions the joys of religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Question is, could you please describe the nature of joy experience in each of these processes? So it's simple. We discussed this in Nectar of Devotion introduction. The happiness of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, liberation are all chapala sukha, temporary and flickering. Only happiness of Krishna consciousness is permanent and lasting. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 8. Why a demon who is killed directly by Lord Krishna is going to Goloka Vrindavan instead of their abominable act? So this is the speciality of Krishna. Just as to mark the special occasion of Krishna's appearance in the material world, the Dwarpa Yuga and the Treta Yuga switched their positions. So before Krishna's appearance, the yugas used to be Satya Yuga, second used to be Dwarpa Yuga. So Dwa in Dwarpa means second. The third Yuga used to be Treta Yuga. So Tre in Treta means third. And then the Kali Yuga. So when Krishna appeared, the cycle became Satyug, the second Yuga became Treta Yuga, means the third Yuga switched place as second and the second Yuga switched place as third, meaning the sequence became Satyug, second became Treta, although the word Tre means three, third Yuga becomes Dwarpa Yuga, although Dwa means second, the fourth is Kali Yuga. So this is speciality of Krishna, not just speciality, it's actually his mercy. That when Putna came to kill Krishna when he was just 5-6 days in the material world during that childhood pastime. So he actually blessed Putana that, okay, you came in the disguise as a mother, so I will give you a motherly role. So Putna even today is a nurse in spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan. This is the special mercy of Krishna. Does that answer the inquiry, Mansi Monarch?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, quick question on this: that does all the demon go to Goloka Vrindavan or Brahma Jyoti?
So all demons that are killed by Krishna directly, Putna as an example, that demon goes to Goloka Vrindavan. Meaning Putna today, she is no longer a demon. Putna is in Goloka Vrindavan as a nurse of Krishna. And rest, all the demons that were killed when Krishna appeared as a child of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, the killing was done by the Vishnu form of Krishna within Krishna. So when Vishnu form of Krishna kills, they go to Brahman effulgence. Therefore, in some lectures, Prabhupada has explained this same point, that demons killed by Vishnu, they go to Brahman effulgence. So why would anybody want to go to Brahman effulgence? Although now those demons are purified, but Brahman effulgence is full with souls that were actually demons or souls that are Gyan yogis. Therefore, they all fall down because there is no activity at Brahman effulgence and soul cannot stay inactive. Monarch, does that answer? Path Prabhu, go ahead.
Actually, I have one query. So those demons who were having the special blessing from Krishna being killed by him, so is it for their pious karma in their previous life?
Just causeless mercy of Krishna. What does causeless mean? Causeless means you do not deserve. You have not done anything. It has nothing to do with karma. It is causeless mercy of Krishna that he just showered on a particular demon. Path, Monarch, everybody.
Got it, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
All right, last question for today. We know that birth and death are not at our control. So if a person commits suicide, is it not to be considered as the effect of prior karma or destiny? So why the related soul does not get his next body immediately? So this question is not the first time this exact same question is asked in our class. So this is a fact that when one commits a suicide, his next body is not ready until when he was supposed to naturally die. Therefore, those who commit suicide, they become ghosts for the remainder of the scheduled lifespan that was cut short because they committed suicide. So for one of the earlier question today, I described on how one becomes a ghost. I'm hoping that answers collectively this question also. Does that everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhu.
Tish.
Prabhu, actually, I had a question. In the previous class recording, there was a story mentioned about Jaya and Vijaya, about how they were the two celestial gatekeepers of Vaikunt, and they were given a curse where they had to either choose 3 years in the material world as demons, or I think 7 years in the material world as devotees, and then they chose the first option. And then they were born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. My question is, if this is all Krishna's Leela and the demons were created solely to satisfy the fighting desire for Krishna in the form of Vishnu, uh, and after fighting, the demons get purified at the end of the day. But what happens to the victims? Like from the victims' perspectives, they are the ones who are getting tortured, and these victims can also be Krishna devotees themselves. So I
So,
don't understand this whole concept.
yeah, so it's not 3 years, but 3 lifetimes and 7 lifetimes. So it's 3 lifetimes and 7 lifetimes. So Jai Vijay, you are correct that they chose the 3 lifetimes instead of 3 lifetimes as a demon instead of 7 lifetimes as a devotee because they said, so this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapters 13 to 19, the whole Varahadev pastime fight with Hiranyaksha where Jai Vijay get cursed and they become demons or they get sent to material world. So in there, the Jai Vijay say, Krishna, we cannot stay separate from you. Therefore, we will choose the shorter option of 3 lives, even if it is a demon, because we are anyways satisfying your desire. So the fighting desire here is not the Vishnu fighting, it's Krishna himself fighting. So understand that Krishna does multiple things in one pastime. The devotees that are also involved in the Leela, for example, Prahlad Maharaj getting tortured, that is also part of the Leela to teach to rest of us that pure devotees, how they are constantly focused on Krishna no matter what the trouble. If you read Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, at least the initial part, the amount of troubles Prabhupada went through is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. The first time I read Prabhupada's Leelamrita, I actually stood in front of Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, what were you thinking? And Prabhupada was doing for what? For setting up ISKCON for all of us. So the troubles that Prabhupada went through are to teach us how to stay focused on Krishna. If you look at all pure devotees, they went through so much trouble, Pandavas, Draupadi, but they were all getting more and more absorbed in Krishna because of troubles. Kunti Maharani says in 1.8.25, let those calamities happen again and again. Because of the calamities, we will think of you, Krishna, again and again. And by thinking of you, Krishna, again and again, we will no longer come back to this miserable material world. So this 1.8.25 is the height of Kunti Maharani's pure devotion. The teaching for all of us is that how the Pandavas, Draupadi, Kunti Maharani, how all they became more surrendered, more attached to Krishna because of the misery. So these pure devotees, yes, on the surface, externally looks like they are going through miseries, but actually they do not go through or they do not suffer the miseries like how we suffer the miseries. Same way you can take the example of Bhishma Dev. Looks like he went through a lot of trouble, the whole body pierced with arrows, but he did not suffer because that was all in service. He was, Krishna asked Bhishma Dev to fight against Krishna. Bhishma Dev is a Mahajan, not just a pure devotee. There are only 12 Mahajans in the entire creation. And Krishna asked Bhishma Dev, you fight on the opposite side against me. Because Krishna wanted to prove that if you are against Krishna, no matter how powerful you are, you will be defeated. Bhishma Dev, it was impossible to defeat him. But he got defeated because that was Krishna's plan to teach us. It looks like he went through all the suffering, but he actually did not suffer because that was all in service. So all these devotees, yes, on the surface looks like they went through the misery, but that is part of the Leela to teach us that how sufferings are actually better than success. Because in sufferings, we tend to remember God more. The learning is how to stay focused even among such very, very extreme miseries. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji, but how about those devotees under the rule of Hiranyakashipu who had died, like Krishna devotees who were killed by him? So they did not suffer. So is it because of their past karma, like their own karma, or can it be considered purification? So what's the difference between purification and actual suffering?
So purification means replacing material with spiritual. Suffering is we have some suffering on the body, and this is how the soul also ends up suffering. So there's no real no relation between purification and suffering. So suffering can lead you to purification if you choose the right action. So somebody might be killed. Understand that if we are talking of special case, that Jai Vijay are not demons in this life. If you actually, when you read Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapters 13 to 19 of Varahadeva and Hiranyaksha, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is doing so much torture all over the world that there was actually so much disturbance from the moment Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were in the womb of Diti. They were not even born. And there was already so much disturbance. And when they were born, there was so much disturbance. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, oh, this was a glorious demoniac life. That's what he writes for Hiranyaksha, that this was a glorious demoniac life, because he's writing for Jai Vijay. That yes, they choose to be demons. They said actually Hiranyaksha did not suffer anything. Yes, he created all this so-called nuisance, but that was all part of the devotees remembering Krishna more. All the demigods rushed to Brahmaji and Brahmaji to Vishnu. So what was the result? See from the results perspective, that they all were actually getting more attached to Krishna in that fearful state.
Yes, Prabhuji, understood. Just one last question on this. It is in an alternate reality, if the gatekeepers had chosen, being a Krishna devotee for 7 lifetimes, then would the evil not have happened, or would another Leela be inevitable where there was another person causing evil?
So Krishna would have made some other arrangement to satisfy his fighting desire. There's no need to discuss something that has not happened, right? The learning here is that pure devotees, they say, Krishna, we cannot stay separate from you. We choose to be demons, and not ordinary demons. I mean, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, exactly the point Pratyush Prabhu is describing, saying, oh, these are atrocious. How come? So this is the learning that pure devotees, they cannot stay separate from Krishna. Yes, they said, we will take the service of being a demon so that we can come back to you as soon as is possible. Pratyush.
Yes, Prabhuji, understood. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Rest of you, any questions, comments, realizations? All right, I will send the next recording in the group for chapters 2 and 3 of Nectar of Devotion. Plus, I will send 2 Prabhupada lectures and the Google form. So all of you are doing very nice, completing your spiritual endeavors on the Google form. Listening to Prabhupada lectures very nicely. Listening to class recordings very nicely. Anybody has any comments on Prabhupada lectures? At least a couple of devotees did mention about the beauty of Prabhupada lectures. So one devotee mentioned at the previous class about the birds chirping in the background. And another devotee at the last class, he mentioned that how the lecture ends with Haribol, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Haribol. So in the background, all the devotees chanting. So that was also nice, attractive. So yeah, you're all listening very nicely. Anybody has any comments? I had mentioned that Prabhupada lectures are very heavy. All of you feel the same way?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just one comment. So when Prabhupada makes one point, then there is further description on that. It's not like that. So that connection is there, and he provides all the scriptural reference based on that particular lecture. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion lectures are littered with verses. Starts with a verse, ends with a verse, and in between is littered with verse after verse after verse after verse to substantiate what the point Prabhupada is making. Very good. The rest of you? So I have described that what Prabhupada did for Nectar of Devotion was for 2 or 3 months continuously, every day in Vrindavan, Prabhupada gave all these lectures every day, Nectar of Devotion lectures, for about 2 or 3 months. And then for about, I think, a month or so, he then continued the lectures in Bombay. So most of the lectures that are in Vrindavan, some are in Bombay. But Prabhupada just continued the same in Bombay also, that every day for about a month or so, Prabhupada continued Nectar of Devotion lectures. All right, any last questions, comments, realizations? Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.